This video is brought to you by the Farmer Klein YouTube channel. Be sure to like, subscribe, and comment.
Hello everybody, welcome back to the Farming Simulator 22 Map for Suppressions video. Today we're going to take a look at the Breton Countryside. But before that, this video is brought to you by Jackson Weatherholt and Donald Smart. Thank you for being farm barons. So the Breton Countryside map can be found over at the farmingsimulator.com website or the in-game downloadable content menu, and as of the 1.0 release, this map is available for all platforms. Let me read you the description. Welcome to the Breton Countryside. This map is based in France. This is an official conversion from the FS19 version by SoModding. This map includes cows and horses. There are 3 farms, a cow farm, a horse farm, and a cereal farm. Realistic map with everything modeled and positioned as totally imagined. All locations are detailed. There is 1 cooperative sell point, a point of sale for wool and eggs. I'm going to take exception to the egg part of those sell points. 50 small, medium, and large fields. I am taking exception with the terms medium and large fields with respect to this map. This is a small map, and as such, these are small fields in comparison to other fields in other maps, especially some of the maps that we have seen recently. There is a sawmill and a forest available, and various custom sounds included in the game. Let's go ahead and load on in. We are going to use some mods. We typically look at maps, that is additional field info, additional game settings, field lease, field calculator, and precision farming. I will tell you, if you load this map up in Start from Scratch or Farm Manager mode, you will find most of the buildings at the main farm are missing. About half of them, I should say, because only half of the buildings on this map can you truly sell. So here we are in new farmer mode. We do start right here at the sleep trigger. In addition, in farm manager mode and Start from Scratch, you do not own any machinery, nor do you own any land. Now, one thing you may notice by looking at the PDA down in the lower left, this is a small map. This is a very small map. I would say we're probably talking about a map that is less than 20% the size of a standard Farm Sim 22 map. And one other thing you're going to notice is the textures. Wow. They are, they're in a bit of a need of some work. Pretty much for the entirety of the map, we're talking about some old FS textures here. But let's go ahead and take a look at the PDA. As I mentioned, we are looking at a fairly small map here. So if we zoom on in, we do have all the standard crops available to us in Farm Sim 22. In addition, we have alfalfa, clover, and alfalfa seed. And alfalfa seed and alfalfa are unique different crops. So you see, for example, we have field 16 has alfalfa seed. Field 17 has alfalfa. And then we have clover scattered around. I do like to see that we do have fields already pre-placed with these new crop types. But what's the difference between alfalfa and alfalfa seed? Well, I'm thinking one you run with a harvester and one you run with a mower, and that is about it. If we take a look at our farmland lease screen, our farmlands screen, we start out by owning farmland 52. That is the main starting farm. In addition, we have farmland 2 and 5. Those are both fields. And farmland ID 56, that is going to be the BGA. $5,520 to buy that. Farmland ID 55, that is going to be the horse farm. We buy that for $36,000. Farmland ID 53, that is going to be the arable farm, which we buy for $19,000. In addition, we have the unbuyable lands that we could buy. I don't know why you'd want to, because it's going to cost you over $15 million to buy it. And you're only going to be getting 64 acres of arable area. Well, not even arable, just 64 acres. Most of it's outside the map boundary at that. Take a look at our farmland lease screen. This is going to show us all of the farmlands we own and farmlands we can buy, how large those farmlands are, and then if those farmlands include any fields, which field or fields are included, and how much it's going to cost us. As you can see, a lot of these farmlands are going to be less than 1 hectare in size, and as such are going to be less than $50,000 to buy. Take a look at our field calculator screen. This is going to show us each specific field and how large each specific field is on the map. And a vast majority of these fields are less than 1/2 hectare in size. So I would say they fall under the small fields category overall. This map does have a custom soil map. So let's go ahead and see how that is applied to these fields. You see fields to the south, east, and west are fairly loamy. Fields right around the main starting farm are silty clay, and fields kind of to the north are sandy loam, as well as the fields off to the southwest. Taking a look at our crop counter, we do have a custom crop counter available on this map. Here we have our alfalfa, clover, and alfalfa seed. Taking a look at our prices screen, you will see that we do have the ability to sell most of our crops, but not all of our crops, because we do not have the ability to sell sugar beet, nor do we have the ability to sell sugar cane. Now, the description said, I quote, a point of sale for wool and eggs. But the prices screen here says otherwise. There does not appear to be a sell point for eggs on this map. We do have wool and milk. And then we do have silage, hay, straw, and grass. But that is pretty much where it ends, because we do not have the ability to sell basically every production item that is available in the base game, with the exception of one: raisins. We can sell raisins, but that is about it. All of the other production items cannot be sold without putting down your own sell point. We do not have the ability to buy bulk lime, nor do we have the ability to get rid of our stones. So we do have alfalfa seed. We have alfalfa, alfalfa hay, clover, and clover hay are also called out as additional items we can sell. We apparently have the ability to make straw with canola as well. And then, well, kind of keeping to the trend of not being able to sell any production items, we cannot sell any of the platinum expansion items either. So overall, with respect to can you buy or can you sell all production items, base game crops, and animal outputs, the answer is no, you can't. There's a fairly large list of things you cannot sell. So we're going to be getting the map just a 0.5 point with respect to that metric. Taking a look at our starting equipment is all new. None of it is leased. We do start out with a chicken coop and cow shed here at the start at the main farm. We did go ahead and buy the horse farm, and that's why we're seeing the horse stable there. We do not start with any animals. We do have contracts available on the map. We do not own any production chains. Oddly enough, even though we pretty much can only sell raisins, we do have a sawmill on the map, as well as a spinnery. But we can't do anything with fabric or clothing. And this map does have 10 collectibles. Let's go ahead and take a look at our starting fleet. We start out with small tractors in the Steyr 8150 and the Fendt Favorite 511C. We have the Tutsfar Topliner 4090H harvester that's paired up with the 4090H header. Then we have our 2017 pickup truck. We've got the Mega 1200L herbicide and fertilizer sprayer. We've got the Massey Ferguson 1840 small baler. And then we have a 750 kilogram front weight. This map does have a modded broken tire and a modded sandbag. So you can buy these and then put them over your silage heaps. You're going to have to put down your own silage bunkers, because I don't even think the BGA has silage bunkers. We'll take a look at that during the fly around portion, but you could put these tires down and basically put them on top of a covered bunker, if you will, if you want to do a little role play there. Now, as far as our farm tour goes, so we've got our farmhouse, we've got our pickup truck, we have our wardrobe trigger here at this store. We have a dealer trigger, dealer maintenance trigger, but no real indication as to where that maintenance trigger is located. So it looks like the maintenance trigger is located right here, kind of beside it. But it would be nice to have seen the markers for that. Got our tractor or sprayer. The rest of our machinery is right there. Now, as far as what you actually can sell here at the starting farm, well, you can sell the cow pen across the street. You can sell a farmhouse. You can sell the chicken coop. And you may be able to sell this building here. But that is going to be just about it. So our chicken coop, we can store 40 chickens. But remember, unless you put your own egg sell point down, you don't have the ability to sell eggs. Now, we have 2 seemingly triggers for our food. If we come and look at our animal area for our chickens, we only accept 1 food. We don't accept water. So I've got to wonder, why do we have 2 triggers here? And are they both for food? One in this trough, one in this little feeding area there. One may work, one may not. They both might work. Really, it's hard to tell. But why do we have 2? Then across the street, we have our cow area. 60 cows in this building. We have our feed. We have our feed. So we have 2 of those. We have our water trigger. Then we have our manure heap over here. Our slurry point. Well, I guess I misspoke. Earlier, we do have a silage bunker located right here. So this is what the bags and the tires are available for in the shop. And that is pretty much our tour here. Here we have the milk trigger across the street, right where our baler is parked. Let's get a little bit of altitude so we can take a look around. Although, be careful, we don't need to get too much altitude here because, again, we have such a small map. We've got our sell point off in the distance as well as our BGA. We have a little town off to the south. Our vehicle dealer off to the west. Our arable farm off to the north. And then our horse farm over there. So you see we do have some utility poles cutting through the fields. These do have collisions. So do note, if you have a utility pole in the field, you will need to work around that, or hired help will work around it for you. So here we have our grain sell point. That is going to be the sell point that's listed in the prices screen for the bulk majority of our items. And then we have our BGA. Just past that right here. We will need to buy the BGA in order to see those triggers. And then something that I do want to check, and that is, can we sell the BGA? I didn't actually try that earlier. So we can indeed sell the BGA if we want to put something else down. We have our dump point for our milk, dump point for our bales. So overall, this map includes 3 production points. As I mentioned earlier, we have a sawmill, we have the BGA, and we have a spinnery. Even though we do not have the ability to process our planks into furniture, nor do we have the ability to sell our planks or furniture. And we also do not have the ability to sell fabric or clothing. Now this is the spinnery. So we have a spawn point for our pallets of wool. We have our dump point in our interactive icon. So if you are wanting to get into that, then you will need to put something else down in order to get rid of those products. We have our vehicle workshop. We're going to come back to that. This is the arable farm. So at the arable farm, we do have a silo. We have our dump and fill points. And then we have another dealer trigger over here. Note that there is a difference, a technical difference between a dealer trigger and just a workshop trigger. Is a dealer trigger will let you sell things and repaint things. Cover it up once it is kind of needing maintenance. Here we have our sawmill that, again, we really can't do anything with. So we have our interactive icon, we have our dump point and our wood cell trigger and our plank spawn point. Got a bit of a town coming through here. This is the horse farm. And at the horse farm, we have our horse building. 12 horses available in here. We have a dump point here as well as a dump point over there. I'm going to assume that we have food there, straw over here. Now this is listed as needing water. Let's see if we can locate the water trigger. Another dump point for food there. We have our water trough there. Seems to be well covered in grass. And that is pretty much kind of the aerial fly around. I don't feel the need to drive around this map because it is so small. But let's just head over here to the shop area and we'll do a little bit of a chat kind of about our scoring and everything. We do have our shop trigger here. Let's go ahead and pick up the Mahindra and just see where things spawn. We've got a fairly small area here, as one would expect on a map this size for our vehicles to spawn in at. But really, you're not going to be playing with large machinery here, so you're not likely going to be spawning a whole lot of stuff in. Then we have yet another dealer trigger located down here. And then we have the markers for that right there. So, let's talk about score. We're going to be giving the map a full point with respect to production. We do have production built in. We can't really do much with the sawmill or the spinnery because we can't sell any of the outputs that they make, but they are built in. With respect to the next point, the ability to sell our animal outputs, production items, and base game crops, well, we're going to have to say not so much there. Not so much. So we're going to give the map a half a point because basically we can sell half of the stuff on the map, and the other half of the stuff we can't sell without putting something else down. Let me go back over here because I do want to go back to my... Yep, this way. So we have, this is our alfalfa seed. All right. And then let's come to our alfalfa. This looks to be fresh planted alfalfa. We're down here to field 14, which is growing, I believe. And this is listed as regular alfalfa. They look the same, but they are very unique crops. So you're likely not going to be able to mow alfalfa seed, and you're likely not going to be able to run through the harvester regular alfalfa. Can the farm be customized? And can the farms be customized? We're going to give the map a half a point because we can sell about half of the buildings here at the starting farm. We can sell the 2 animal pens. We can sell the silage bunker. We can sell a manure heap. We can sell this shed there. We can sell a farmhouse. As far as the other farms, they are pretty much stock as you're going to find them. Can't sell any of that stuff. With respect to buildings where appropriate are using the new texture technique. Not so much. Buildings where appropriate, buildings are not where appropriate are using this new technique, because none of these buildings are using the new technique. And when you have something with such low res right next to something that's decent, like this rack for the wood, right? I mean, things stand out like a sore thumb. So we are going to be giving that just a quarter of a point in regard to that. And then the last metric is trigger and interactive areas being clearly marked. That's a mixed bag once again. And as such, we are going to be giving the map a half a point there as well. So that's going to wrap this map up with kind of a low score of 2.75 out of 5. And the reason that we got such a low score here is multiple fold. One, we lost half a point by not having the ability to sell basically base game stuff. We lost 3/4 of a point for basically having all of these old buildings coming over from a previous version of Farm Sim. The description said this map came from FS19. I feel these buildings came from FS13 or 15. It would have been nice to see the textures get updated, or maybe the buildings get slightly updated to reflect buildings from maybe Halt Belarun, buildings from Erlengrant, if we didn't want to use the Elm Creek North American style buildings. So that is where we're going to leave it here. Let me know your all's thoughts down in the comments below. And until next time, happy farming.